I'm an empath. I'm 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 an empath. I'm so empathic. I am so empathic. I have feelings. My feelings are empathic feelings, and you're not an empath. That means if you don't validate my psychological disorders, which I wrap up so undiagnosed as an empath, that means you're a psychopath. You're a narcissist. You're a sociopath. You're not an empath. People who call themselves empaths, in my opinion and my experience, are generally evil people, or they're superficially shallow. This whole thing that's developed in recent years of being a professional empath is nauseating, trite, shallow, superficial, accusatory, prejudiced to a significant degree, obnoxious, pointless, and false. Empathy is not what these motherfuckers think empathy is. Empathy is a human trait that even psychopaths have, that means you understand social intelligence. So empathy means you understand social cues, social norms, and it's a basically a tribal kind of functioning, if in an evolutionary context. So like 11 fellas on a soccer team who play really well together, they have empathy for each other because they anticipate the behaviors, the play style, the moves, the psychology of their teammates. They have empathy in that situation. What these dumb new agers who all have empathy and call themselves empathy are confusing that with is compassion. Compassion is a very different thing altogether. Compassion is genuinely feeling for another person's problems, pains, or their needs in life and in working upon it. It's one of these things that separates human beings from many animals, although we do see compassion demonstrated in other high mammals. It is probably a very recent evolutionary thing to bond more complex social structures among mammals at a higher level. And it seems to, and definitely at birds, certain species of birds, it definitely is apparent as well. Like, I'll give you an example, like when starlings fly like this and they suddenly change like that, that's empathy. They're moving in a social intelligence. It's not the same thing as compassion. They're not doing it because they love their fellow starlings or they care about them. Same with the schools of fish. Which means that these people who go about being, I'm an empath. Oh my God. I turn to Liberace when I do this. I'm an empath. Oh my God, I'm a fucking empath. I'm such a fucking empath that I spend every minute of the day being goddamn empathic. Because it's very, very important for everyone to know how fucking wonderful I am. And that's what drives them. That's what really, really drives these pricks. It's a get out of reality card. If someone pisses them off and it annoys them, they're an empath. It's a way of not actually looking into themselves and saying, is my reaction to that situation what's really causing these difficulties for me? Or is my inability to have control, you see this, motherfuckers? This is where the evil comes in. To have control over other people. Is this what really drives them? And these ones who post memes on Facebook about being an empath, they're usually the most self-absorbed, self-centered, controlling pieces of shit you could imagine. They didn't get their way. So therefore, they try to neatly consolidate anyone who doesn't apply their needs for desires over others to gain control over others. They're automatically labeled as disordered. It's disgusting when you think about it. How someone could sit there on the internet with a person they don't know their life, and then sit there and judge them as being disordered, as a narcissist or a psychopath or a sociopath, based on nothing other than they may have said one or two things or did something that they don't agree with or they're not a part of, and it's tearing them apart. And they will sit there and they will justify it by putting themselves into an echo chamber of constantly posting articles written by new age cunts and superficial homosexuals with stomachs full of other men's semen who could run forums on how to recover from evil men, for women, ironically, and they will repeat these as if these are words of wisdom. These are the deluded screamings of a nutcase. A nutcase who can't get their way, who is an adult child, and imposing their will on others, but not getting it, and then defaulting to the, I'm an empath, and you're not. Now, see, that's evil. That's the same, that's just as being prejudiced as someone for their religion, for their class status, for no reason. Just because it's easier to point the finger at someone else and blame them for what you don't get in life. Now, I wrote 2 books on psychopathy, and I never go on the internet, and other than someone who might be like a famous fucking serial killer or a politician like Hillary Clinton, I will never see me point the finger at someone who even disagrees with me, and because I don't know that person. I do not practice black sorcery. I will always run with the asshole default. That's an asshole. And also, it's not my job, even though I wrote 2 books on psychopathy based on my time spent in Wall Street and the experiences I gained there, I learned about pathological behaviors in individuals within social discourse and groupings. I am not in a position to then diagnose people I don't know, because I'm not a trained therapist, and I've always made this point from day one. I don't do that shit because I am not a hysterical queen with a Winnie the Pooh bear surrounded by a couple of bunny boilers who creating a family of love, and then running witch hunts against people they've dehumanized by calling them psychopaths, narcs, and so on. I've never done things like that, and I've pulled away from situations like that. I will never do that. And I'll tell you why I don't do it. It's because, 1, it's unethical. 2, I'm not trained. 3, I threw information out there, you fucking run with it. And that's the end of it, okay? I don't lie to people about those kinds of things. You have to deal with your own shit in life. I have to deal with my shit in life. Calling yourself an empath in order to mask, disguise, cover up, chocolate coat your pathological behavior is evil. It's evil. If you can't control other people, it's not the other people's fault. It's you have to have a deep look inside yourself to fucking see what you are, okay? You have to look at yourself. And shallow, superficial, new age type spiritual people, many holy rollers within Christianity and Abrahamic religions, will either go to extreme lengths not to come to terms with their own shadow, or they will go to extreme lengths to attack everyone else who reminds them of their own shadow. You, me, everyone else has a shadow. You don't own your own shit will use you, will own you. And you keep talking about being an empath and posting memes about empaths is only going to put you deeper and deeper into the abyss. And within the darkest abyss, you will be forced to face the monster inside there. And the monster inside the deepest shadow is always you.